Hello guys, welcome back. This is the Air Changes Disclosure and Awakening Part 4. This will be discussing the proposed arrival of the comet Elenin, or Elenin, depending on how you pronounce it. Just, the Russian astrologist who found the comet. Camelot website was hacked prior to this information getting released. The guys there, Kerry and Bill and the guys were trying very, very hard to get this website up and running. They were attacked for almost a week, which is the DOS denial of service attacks that they had. So it was obvious from the word go that someone somewhere didn't want this conference to take place. Now, there's a couple of ways of looking at that. Again, it's coincidence. Sometimes people's actions speak more loudly than words in regards. Sometimes people don't say anything, they don't need to. It's their actions that actually either give them away or give you a clear understanding of their intent. So whoever was trying to shut down this Project Camelot website conference, it was obviously intent on, for one, stopping information getting out, and for two, highlighting the fact that there was a need for this information not to get out, which just made it all the more compelling, because that's human nature. You always want what you can't have. Now, as regards to the other side of the coin, was it shut down deliberately to cause people to think there was something to be covered up and to keep attention on Elenin, rather than somewhere else? So everyone can go theorise about that. As again, go and check the website out, have your own opinions on it. What's my take on this? Well, pardon me, I do believe that there is something heading our way, and I don't mean in the form of comments. I mean in the form of a disclosure or in the form of an awareness event that will take place within the confines of 2011, this year itself. I've got a couple of theories on that, but this isn't the place for them. I'll talk about them later on. This is to just go through the updates to the talk. So that website was hacked on the 24th, which was the same day, incidentally, of the awareness event that took place in London. Why I keep referring to that, by the way, as an awareness event, is that there are thoughts in some camps that was generated to see what the public did, to see how the public reacted, and just to see if the media were playing the game that they're being paid to play. If you look into some of the stuff regarding the Columbia Pictures, for example, that ties in with the Masonic rights thing, where, again, CBS, Columbia Broadcasting Services, it's got the All CNI, CBS, it's an American channel. So we have to accept at this point that the media is in the realms of stretching the truth to the absolute degree. If it at all is the truth, and as I said before about the awareness wars situation, the media is being led to coerce and misguide in a lot of ways. So we get back to Nibiru. We're going to start with Nibiru first, because this is the big myth. Nibiru may exist. If it does exist, it's not coming our way for some time. Nibiru basically is a brown dwarf, which is the offshoot of the remnants of what was left over in solar particles and materials left from the birth of our sun. It has its own orbit, which goes way out there and then comes way back in, about every 3,500 years or so. In orbit around this brown dwarf is the planet Nibiru, or Planet X, or the Destroyer, or whatever you want to call it. Now, this planet in itself is mainly amongst the community was believed to contain the entities, the Anunnaki, who were the reptilian entities that David Icke spoke about so famously in his talk with Wogan. Now, It's a generally believed thing that, and I say, by all means, go and research this, that these reptilian entities do exist. To get into them now would just be to do them a disservice, because I just cannot afford enough time on them to go into details. So basically, these entities live there. Zecharia Sitchin, who claimed that these entities created mankind to mine gold, who interacted with us in a genetic and sexual way, and created a slave race to mine gold. That was all of his books were based on this. About Nibiru, the Dark Planet, and the end of days and all of this stuff. So what I would suggest is this: that Zecharia Sitchin himself was on the paybook of the man. He was heavily involved with some of the bigger heads of the 33-degree masonry movement. He was a part of this thing. Apparently, he was designed to be giving out the misinformation, and this is what he did. To move on, again, another talk could be done on that man completely, which I may do in the future. Comet Elenin. The comet is going to pass us roughly around autumn time. That's a picture of the comet there. This is the perceived trajectory of the comet, which will pass us at 0.242 AU. AU is an astronomical unit. Sorry, an astronomical unit. One astronomical unit is the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So, 2 astronomical units would be that distance again, in duplicate, and then again and again and again. So 0.242 is way under 1 astronomical unit, and it will pass by us in what could be considered cosmic near miss. On the scale of the cosmos, it's infinitesimal, the amount of space between us and the comet, but in earthly terms, it's miles and miles and miles away. I wouldn't even worry about it. Coming slightly after that is YU55. Now, YU55 is a comet that is much, much smaller than Elenin, and that will come in again a couple of days outside of Elenin, and some really strange things are going to happen as regards what happens on Earth around that time. I'll go into that as we go. So NASA has spent millions of dollars on the South Pole Telescope to track an undisclosed object. They'll probably put it under research, but as Bob Dean said, never a straight answer. So you never know what's going on with the boys at NASA. Earth changes beginning to happen, growing in intensity and frequency as we head towards awakening. What do I mean by awakening? I mean about an event that will make us as a population on this world stand up and go, oh my God, yeah, you're right. So therefore, the people like myself who have obviously descended into madness and bringing this to everybody's door, I've obviously had a nervous breakdown, or they've closed my local McDonald's and it's sent me into an absolute emotional frenzy. These are the people that then will be getting asked the questions of how come this is going on. YU55 is due November 8th, the 11th of this year, which is 8th of November. That's going to be in our skies through to the 11th of the 11th. The 11th of the 11th is an interesting date as regards getting back to the masonry aspect of things. Everything is done on significant dates, and if you perceive the 11th of the 11th, the first thing that comes to mind for myself is the signing of the Peace Declaration of the Armistice Day, which is the 11th of November. The fact that it's 11/11/11 this year would suggest to me that something major has to happen on this day. Now, whether it be some form of cataclysmic events, whether it be something to generate ill feeling on the planet, hence 9/11, or whether it be something in our skies or in our being as entities which lifts us up or proves to us that we're not alone in the universe, maybe a disclosure event from the President of the United States or some other body. The guesswork is out there. Please, by all means, just formulate your own opinions, take everything with a pinch of salt, believe absolutely nothing that you're being told, and that includes this talk and these talks as well. Please challenge everything and go and research it yourself, because it is not about people telling you what's happening. It's about you understanding it's happening. And to get to that belief, you have to do the legwork, because people just telling you. If I was to sit here and say, believe everything I'm telling you now, or the end is nigh, that is no good. That is exactly what people have been doing to you all your life, telling you how it is, convincing you how it is, and none of us are doing the legwork anymore. We've stopped asking the questions. Okay, so the next one up is the FEMA, or Federal Emergency Management Agency, is due to take full control of all the USA TV channels the day after TU-55 passes the Earth, and we'll pass between us and the moon. The data at the moment is leaning towards that LNN as a controlled artificial object. It appears to be outgassing the atmosphere, causing a common effect. Or there has been instances where people have suggested it's outgassing the atmosphere from inside. Current thinking in the whistleblower community is that LNN has been sent to begin a new awareness on Earth. That isn't in all the whistleblower community, it is just simply someone else's take. All of this is about different takes. It's about what you perceive and what you don't. And while we're all quite happy sitting on our little leg of a paradigm where we go, oh ho hum, this is all just a big joke, at the end of the day, these talks are not meant to convince or do anything like that. They're not meant to have you believe in different things, or what they are meant to do is to bring you to a new understanding or a night of, I'm going to check that out. All we're trying to do with this website is spread awareness, to spread the first seeds of, well, I'm going to check this out myself. And everybody, please, I fully request that everybody go and take that journey. So, moving on to that, Nibiru was it a hoax with government conspiracy to generate ill feeling or fear? Is that what the LNN comet is due to bring? Is that why we're having all these alien invasion movies at the minute? Because the first time we see a UFO from a different source of life than us, we'll start throwing bricks and shooting guns at it. Is that what the powers that be behind the scenes want? Do they want this ill feeling? We'll go into feelings and stuff and emotions a bit later on in another talk I'm going to do regarding how water was affected by emotional states and positive and negative comments. And it's quite staggering actually what took place with that experiment. And this is a substantiated experiment. People actually believe this took place. Public positivity is a big thing, yeah, it really, really is. Google Sky blackens out areas of several locations where possible objects may be, and the Project Camelot website was hacked, which is what you know about. So if we take this in, for example, we look at Google Sky. Google Sky is, of course, the version of Google that looks at the sky rather than the Earth. Loads of instances of places being blacked out in the sky at the moment. It's quite scary what's being blacked out up there. What does awakening mean? Okay, it could be the government or public disclosure of contact with an alien race or society, exposure to a more advanced culture or life forms, as in the Condon report, the realization and acceptance that we're not alone in the universe, search for extraterrestrial intelligence is apparently monitoring two supermassive objects, but when you look into SETI and you realise it was set up by a fellow who basically was on the government payroll, Carl Sagan, Dr. Carl Sagan, and he spent his time dismissing ufology. Then him setting up a search for extraterrestrial intelligence seems a little bit of a contradiction in terms, but by all means make your own read into Dr. Carl Sagan. It's quite an interesting story. Paradigm changing events allegedly due to the arrival of LNN in the autumn of 2011 AD. The common LNN is on approach to Earth. It's accompanied by extraterrestrial craft. I've seen photographs of proof of UFOs flying around this object. And the cultural, religious and scientific perceptions of our race and the universe and its place in the universe will be challenged. As I've actually said, in the next few years, you're going to think we're all living in a science fiction movie. And guys, believe you me, we are all part of the same consciousness. This universe has a consciousness, we're part of that. And we are living through the greatest episode in the history of the human race. Thank you again for your attention and your time to taking the time out to listen to these talks. And please go forward in peace. Until next time.